Hi there. I'm going to make a fabric book and I thought I'd share the process with you. Pardon my dirty craft mats. So I took a piece of raw canvas. It's medium weight, not too heavy, because I'm going to layer stuff on it to make it thicker, less floppy. So I've got this piece of fabric that I've gessoed on here, or not gessoed, but gelled. And now I have this bare side. And it's got some dog hair on it. My dog likes to hang out in my studio, no problem. It's gonna get covered up anyways. So I have these beautiful little pieces of vintage book pages from a French book. I'm thinking I will use that to cover the back, or the inside rather. Although, you know, if I like this well enough, I could have it be the inside. I can determine that after I've created the cover. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab my ruler so I can cut these edges off, because I just want words. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes I like for stuff to kind of be perfect. Only as long as it's not making me suffer. You know, sometimes trying to attain perfection can be frustrating. But sometimes you might want a little something, a little cleaned up, and that's okay. So let's see, I'm trying to see if I have them. Oh yeah, I like that. So just go ahead and continue to cut the stuff off here. And put my scraps in a nice neat pile so they don't get collected up on my surface. It's taken me a long time to learn how to work so that I don't have stuff tossed all around. I used to have such a big mess on my table. Sometimes I still do, but for the most part it's getting better. It's a matter of sticking to a routine of always cleaning up as you go. It's kind of like when you work in the kitchen, right? You clean as you go. And I've even gotten better at finding my supplies, because I put things back as soon as I use them so that they can all be remembered where I put them. I won't be hunting around. It's a waste of time to be hunting around for stuff that I need to use. All right, so I got one more page. And all of these bits that I'm tearing off of here, I'm putting to the side because I could use those little bits in another project. So I'm tenderly ripping these off with the ruler. Ruler works great because you get a kind of a little bit of a rough edge there. It's not scissors perfect. So there. So I got all of these. And now I will start pasting these down with some gel medium. I'm going to keep these two here so that I'll know where to put this at. So I'm just going to take my water over here. First I'm going to put some on the canvas, like so. Sometimes it can be hard to glue stuff to fabric, canvas, whatever. You can use wonderful products, fabric glues like Fabri-Tac, but I find gel to be a little more economical. Plus, you won't get my papers won't stain, and I've noticed that when I use Fabri-Tac, I get a little bit of staining that comes through the pages or the fabric on the other side. So there I have this, and I will continue to. And did you notice that I forgot I was going to put gel on the other side of the paper, but it looks like it adhered well. So I will continue on to do the next page. I always don't use enough gel at the edges, and they tend to peel up. So I'm going to pay extra attention to that. I'm not too concerned about this edge because I've cut my book. Put that there. I don't want to put that in the water if it's got gel on it. I cut my cover a little extra longer than what the pages are. So I might end up cutting part of that off. So I'm not too concerned with that. Now I'm going to do the last one here. Dog hairs and all. It's my own fault. I had my canvas roll was sitting on the floor in my studio, and my dog sheds quite a bit. Even though he's a slick-haired dog, he sheds a lot. And since we're in a warm season, you know, he's gonna shed even more. Okay, so I'm just putting these down. I wasn't even thinking about the orientation of up or down. Like this one is right side up, these two are upside down. How fortuitous that worked out like that. I think I'll slap a little bit of gel on here, just for shiggles. I like how it's turned the page a little darker, but it will dry up. So let me grab my favorite color paint. Not necessarily the color, but I like it because it gives you an antique-y look. This wonderful product is Golden Fluid Acrylic Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold. And it's not kidding, it is gold. I love this stuff. Yeah. I'm just going to spritz a little on here. I'm watering it down so that it's not so dark. I'm going to take a piece of muslin and I'm going to just take up some of that paint. See how I love it. It's like, why use paper towels or baby wipes and such when you can just use what you're going to discard on a piece of fabric that you'll be able to later use in another project or even in your books. That's a great way to start up another little project. So I'm trying to go along, and here's a little thread. I think it wants to be there, so I'll leave it. All right. Now this craft mat is new. I'm just trying it. So I'm going to see if, wow, these craft mat things really work. Amazing. So I'm going to just give that a quick little dry. I don't think I want to get heat next to my craft mat, so I'll just hold it up like so. So now I'll set this aside for it to dry even more, and then I will address the edges after, but I want it to dry really well. Put that aside. And now onto the pages. All right, I already have my pages selected. I just used some different fabrics. I like this blue-green color, and I like red and black. And I have some filmy fabric here. I think it's, somebody told me it was Obi. I'm not sure what it is. And I took this handkerchief and cut it down the middle. Then I have instant embellishment of stitches and whatnot. This piece I had displayed on Instagram, and if you look closely, I added some stitches, and this color here is also the same thing, the Nicolazo gold, quinacridone. It's the gold. So I thought, you know, this is an instant page that I created. Didn't even realize it. I was just stitching because I wanted to stitch, you know, something that calms me down, and it's rather meditative. So, like, wow, I thought this is perfect. I'll use this as a page. I'm going to take one of these other pieces. Oh, look at that color. I like that. Now I'm going to grab a stencil. Here's a well-used one. I get my stencils from Stencil Girls, and I'll put up their website address. So this gives you an idea of what you're going to see, where the color is going to get laid down on the fabric. This is a well-used, well-worn. In fact, I think I got some paper on here. Maybe I won't use this one. I'll take that off. Usually when I use my stencils, I will use them and then just blot them with fabric. I'm going to show you how I do that in a sec here. Let me pick another stencil though, because I want to be able to use a full stencil. So I have all of these lovely Stencil Girls stencils. and trying to figure out which one I want to use. This here is a little bit busy, but it might work. Here's an interesting one. Circles. I could also layer the stencils if I wanted to, like I could do that, but I kind of like to do one at a time. So I think I like the circle one. And there are others. That's kind of cool too. And this fine friend. Ooh, I really like this one. I don't know how that would turn out. Okay, so we have 2 contenders. There's some bricks. I think that would be too much. They have a slew of designs that different teachers have made, and yeah, I suggest you check out their website. Oh, here's one too. Might be cool. There's a contender. And here's one with words. Let's take a look at how that would look. That'd be cool too. Choices. Okay, let me try this first, because I could always go back on top with another color if I want more stencil goodness on there. So I'm going to use my black gesso. Put the cap back on my gel so it doesn't dry up. You know, and I tend to, I'm going to do it on a piece of fabric, blotting fabric I have here first to make sure. I like to save my orts. I have a big old can full of them. Threads like this that come off of your fabric, they're called orts. I think that's kind of funny. So let's see. I usually use a credit card. Let's see where my stencil went. You want to hold your stencil down. I'm scared. That's all right. It's just a piece of cloth. Might as well go ahead and do the rest. And I'm doing it perfectly just because, well, it's not perfect, but what I mean is, you know, sometimes you can just use pieces of the stencil. But I wanted to see if this works out. Sometimes when I spread it with a credit card, well, this is actually a Macy's gift card that has expired. I mean, I used it up. Anyways, there we go. So, it probably has, you know, well, we'll see. Oh, no! No. Oh, well, it was meant to be. That's okay. Now, we still have this. Oh, look how that turned out on the mat. Cute. So I'm going to take another blotting fabric. It's probably already dry, but we'll see what we can get. I've got a little something. Yeah, I don't put my stencils in, bring this up too. I don't put my stencils in water. I usually clean them off by blotting them with a fabric. Well, that turned out really cool. So that brings me to another point. Okay, this will eventually be a page in one of my books also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that putting a piece of fabric underneath will allow what happened on the mat onto a piece of fabric instead. I'm going to put this like this since I'm using my right hand to set it right there. Maybe I should have used another stencil. But this one was working so well. Why create problems? Nothing worse than trying to show somebody how to do something and totally bombs. But anytime you bomb on something, you set it aside because you could probably use it for something else. I don't throw much away, to my husband's consternation. Here we go. Good enough. I'm going to pull out. Oh, I was getting nervous about this part. So that turned out pretty good. So I'm going to lift this up so you can see if it worked or not. All right, so I got a bit of a ghost print there. You know, fabric is porous, so you're going to get delicious things like that happening. I'm going to set that aside. And look at this piece. It's all dark and lovely on the one side, but the other side looks pretty cool too. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to take another piece of fabric. And let's put the two down. I can't get them apart right now. And I'm going to do this just for shiggles to figure out if that'll work. And just gently with my hands, I'm going to go like so. Because I don't want to do it too hard. It'll ruin what I have. It's going to change the look anyway. But this is about experimentation and seeing how things are going to turn out. So I have that. And it's left these lovely ghost prints on here. Didn't really go through to the bottom fabric, but that's okay. It was just wanting to see if that would happen or not. That's pretty cool. I like it. So I'll set those aside. So now I'm ready to take on the green fabric. So here we go. And I'm just going to do one side so you can see how it turns out on fabric that has a color. I think I'm just gonna not have it be perfect. And I'm going to take this piece of fabric that I had used to blot the vintage book pages, and I'm going to use that to blot this stencil, get the paint off of it. Yep. All kinds of goodness. I like that. So I'm going to take this side. I mean, why waste paint? Why create a bucket of watery paint that you're going to have to put somewhere? Not good for the planet, right? So there's that. Yeah, I like that. Now we'll pull this off. Want to see how good it looks on a colored fabric? I love this colored fabric too. Let's see if we can get another. I'm going to roll over that with my brayer. Look at how grungy this thing is. It's really old. And sometimes these layers of acrylic will eventually start to peel off, and I have to sit there and peel them off. My husband says, you know, you really need to take care of your tools. And I'm like, yeah, I should, huh? So let's see what happens when I give this a little pressy press with my brayer. Not really anything, but I'm just wanting to make sure that my brayer is clean. I mean, it's clean, but it's not. But you know what? I love when these things get all grungy with paint. There's a spot right there. Okay, well, that's just one way of treating. Ah, look at that. I got this here in the craft mat. I wonder if I could pick that up. Jesus. A little bit. Perhaps it's a good way to clean my craft mat. I'm so lazy about cleaning these things. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. All right. Well, I hope you liked this little bit of stencil action and the work on my cover. And on these, the cover, the fabric deliciously got a little wrinkly here and there. And it's a little bit warped. I might wrap it in a piece of wax paper and set something heavy down on top, so that way it will flatten out. I just want to make sure and dry it first, you know, before I do that, and make sure it cools off before I wrap it in the wax paper. Thank you for viewing. I hope you were able to get something from it. Have a nice day.